Are we ready in Zoom?
We are ready in Zoom. I'm ready, if Lee's ready.
All righty. Okay, we're going to start the meeting. Today is Saturday, April the 13th, 2024. I am now calling the American Council of the Blind Columbus chapter meeting to order. Before we get started, our normal disclaimer that this meeting is being recorded. Anything that you say will be used and put on our YouTube channel. So your words and comments will be out for the public consumption and domain. So that's our disclaimer that this meeting is being recorded. If you have a concern with that, please let me know. Welcome everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Isn't it great that it's not raining? So, well, I haven't done this in so long. So it's been like 5 weeks. Wow. So first order of business is to take the roll call. So if we can start in Zoom, that would be great.
You want us to just say our names? Is that what?
You can say your name. I think usually Sean would announce if he was running, but I believe Katie's running it. So if you guys want to come off mute and announce yourself, or Katie can call you guys one-on-one so we can get you recorded as to who's here on Zoom.
I can do it, Janae, if you want.
That's fine.
So I'm Katie Frederick. I'm here. Mary Highland is here. Shirley Roberts. And is Lynn with you, Shirley?
Yeah, you can go ahead and count him.
Okay. And then we have a telephone number ending in 4065. You're unmuted. Who is that, please?
Kathy Withman.
Hi, Kathy. And that is all in Zoom right now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Katie. Okay, now we can get attendance in the room, please. So I'll start with myself, Janae Miller, President.
Lee Tucker.
Edward Snively.
Erwin Hott.
Gail Baldwin.
Angela Brown.
Mary Lynn Pifo. Juanita Meyer. Julie Russell.
Mike Russell.
Mary Carabinas.
That's the current attendance.
Current attendance. Okay, thank you all so much. Next order of business is the minutes. Any correction or edits to the meeting minutes from last month? Did everybody have a chance to read the meeting minutes from last month? No edits, no corrections, no comments about meeting minutes last month. Everybody like how they looked? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes if there's no edits or corrections needed?
Kathy Withman, I move we accept the minutes as written.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
Mary Carabinas.
Okay, make sure you say your name so we know. So Kathy Whitman made the motion that we accept the minutes as written, and Mary Carabinas seconded the motion. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Hi.
Any nays? The motion has been approved. Next on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Mr. Tucker.
Okay, here we go. Okay, this is for the period of March 9th to April 12th, 2024. The checking account has an ending balance of $18,493.69, a decrease of $2,286.11. Deposits were $15 dues from unknown members in 2023. That's, I know their names, but we didn't know they were members. Kind of wonder if they really are. But anyway, and then Ray Harrison signed up as a member, so that's a $15 deposit. And expenses, we had donations that we made to Voice Corps for $1,000 and Newsreel for $1,000. Cash was removed from the checking account for engagement benefit of $150, and a credit card payment was made of $150. Going back in history, that is for Sunshine cards. And AT&T bill came through, as it always does, for $16.11.
Okay.
And we have an outstanding, question?
No, I just said, okay.
And we have an outstanding balance of checks and receivable is $10 because I just wrote that check out to ACB Ohio for Ray Harrison signing up as a member. Charge card, as mentioned, payment was made to that for $150. The People Helping People account ending balance is $2,344.87. A decrease of $174.49. That's because of the grant that was made for $177.49 for a Perkins Braille writer and also accessible blood pressure monitor in the same grant. And the pennies was contribution to the People Helping People Fund was $3. Savings account ending balance $6,244.16, an increase of a lordly 15 cents. The Columbus Foundation, the market value hasn't changed for a few months. That's because we can't actually find it out unless we called them, because they're in the middle of a transition over there of their system to that allows us to take a look at our accounts, and hopefully they let us look at our account instead of ACB Ohio's. But the last balance we knew about was $86,160.84, which is a loss since December 31st of $6,113.45, because we received the spring grant from the Columbus Foundation of $5,658.47. For comparison, the total grants from the Columbus Foundation in 2023 were $6,400.50. And the payout year to date of the engagement benefit is $360, not including today's payout. Now we have a couple notes here. Hopefully in April, the confusion that exists in the Columbus Foundation between the Columbus chapter account and the State of Ohio account should be resolved. What the confusion means is they have, like what used to be up until March, if you look at the account 0961 and try to get the details of who has that account, it's mostly data for ACB Ohio that's in there. With amusingly, my name is there as somebody to contact, and also has the Gmail account of the Columbus chapter instead. So all of that is there's directions for re-entering chapter data for Columbus should arrive on April 17th, is what an email notice I have received says. Also, on a more positive note, chapter received a thank you letter from Mark Jividan of the Voice Corps regarding our donation. And it's a very well written and heartfelt letter, and I appreciated it myself. And we also received a donation letter that apparently somebody made to Pilot Dogs in the amount of $200. It may be in the name of our chapter. ACB Ohio says they know nothing about it. So I don't know if it's donation. We didn't actually, okay, well, we didn't make a donation, but it may have been made in our name or it might have been made in ACB Ohio's name. Don't know. And that concludes the treasurer's.
I have a question. So that donation letter, does it have like a return address or anything? So we haven't any idea who?
No, that from Pilot Dog is just from them.
Right.
So we don't know.
So we don't know who donated on either ACB Ohio or our behalf possibly?
Yeah,
No,
or,
no.
yeah, we don't know who made that donation.
Okay.
Yep.
Any questions for Lee? No questions for Lee. Y'all are quiet today. And I'm sleepy. Y'all quiet. I need y'all to wake me up.
I try not to put the people asleep with the treasurer's report, but it's pretty much.
Okay. Any questions for anybody over in Zoom about Lee's report?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Next it would be the committee reports.
The voting.
Oh yeah, okay. Sorry. Okay, so I would like someone to please make a motion to approve Mr. Lee Tucker report.
I will, Erwin.
Erwin's making a motion. Will someone please second it?
This is Katie, I second it.
Well, I think Ed got to it first, Katie.
Okay, no problem.
So, so Erwin made a motion. Ed Snively seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Yeas. The motion to approve the treasury report as it is has been approved. Now my brain can go to the committee reports. So, we have the sunshine and people helping people. Mary Lynn, would you like to talk about what's going on with the sunshine report, even though we're going to be doing probably some changes to that?
First of all, I want. Okay. First of all, I want. Yeah. My mouth is almost touching it. First of all, I want to thank Lee for getting the guidelines out for the Sunshine Committee on April 9th. Because that is the first full access I've had to them, and that is very appreciated, Lee. Thank you so much. Okay, and the board is considering revising those guidelines. In 2023, that I know about, there were 7 incidents of medical need. And 2 of those were previously sent out by the Hansons, and I sent out 5 Kroger's cards to those people. Different things, and I'm listening to my recording of the facts. Okay, Gail Baldwin was in the hospital for knee
Hang in
replacement.
there. This is
Vicki Hansen was,
Mary Lynn.
yes.
Mary-
I've
you're-
got it
you're-
right to my mouth.
The batteries are dying.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Still doesn't sound.
It's on.
Okay, and I don't want to touch it with my mouth, about a 1/4 inch away. Okay, again, I want to thank Lee for getting the guidelines out on April 9th to the Sunshine Committee. That was great to have full access to those. In 2023, there were 7 incidents that I know of where there was a call for the Kroger's card to be sent out to let our members know we knew about it. One was Gail Baldwin. She was in the hospital for knee replacement. Nikki Hansen had an accident and she was in the hospital for a good amount of time and rehab, still recovering. And Mary Highland was in the hospital for surgery. Don Haynes was in the hospital for various medical issues. Paul Purnell was ill and hospitalized. Denise Villarreal was in the hospital and also rehab, and she was laid up for quite a while. Oh. Melody Holloway was hospitalized for treatment. In 2024, there have been two calls for the Kroger's cards to be sent out. Oh, in 2023, of the 7, I sent out 5 of those, and the Hansons had already sent out 2 of those. So that was for 2023. And the year is based on the medical issue, not the date the card was sent out. Because sometimes it takes a while to find out about, the situation. In 2024, there was a death in the family for the Hansons, Larry's mother, and Melody Holloway was back in the hospital again in 2024. That is to date. So 2024 may be a little healthier with at least 7 needs in 2023. And so far, only 2 needs in 2024. So maybe we're healthier. Yay. Any questions?
I have a question. This is Mary.
I just,
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, I know I haven't been around much, so I'm trying to catch up. Can you just briefly tell us what the Kroger card, what that is about? When you say you send out Kroger cards, what does that mean?
What we do is when someone is hospitalized or there is a death in the family of the immediate family, then we send a $25 Kroger's card to the person to help them possibly with extra expenses, make it easier to get things, maybe medical or food at Kroger's, or they can choose another gift card if Kroger's is someplace maybe not near them or where they don't shop.
Okay, thank you.
Our members know we're thinking of them and trying to help out.
Mhm.
my question, I wanted to know who was on the committee because she says the committee was given that copy. The other question is, how do you know who is to be added to the Sunshine Report? How do you get a report of people's illness or?
And technically, I found out the guidelines say the person who has been hospitalized needs to let us know in a reasonable amount of time. And I think it was 60 or 90 days. Like I said, I just got access to the guidelines not too long ago.
If you recall, Larry and Nikki were running the Sunshine Committee for a long while. And so Mary, Lynn has agreed to, for now, kind of hold that. We're looking to make some changes to it. Because it, again, like I had stated back in February, we have committees, but we always have only one person doing what's supposed to be committee work, which should be a minimum of at least 3 people. You volunteer for Sunshine? Appreciate that, Gail.
Huh? Oh, yes, this is Gail Baldwin. I'm going to volunteer with Mary Lynn
And then,
for Sunshine.
thank you, I appreciate that. And as a president, I'm an honorary member of all committees. So, I feel free to keep me in the loop with things, please.
Excuse me, I want to know, is there a way to up the gift card? Because I'm a Kroger shopper and, I think it's a beautiful thing to think about the people in need who are a part of the ACBO. But is there any way to up it to maybe like 40 or 50 bucks?
That's a budget thing we need to probably discuss and see if that's something we can do based on our budget. But it's something we can consider.
And I was just kind of filling the gap. This is Mary Lynn again, filling the gap temporarily for the Hansons. And once I got the guidelines, I found out there were a lot of things I cannot perform. So hopefully the guidelines will be revised and then the committee can regather and do everything the guidelines say. I've just been sending out the cards. I wasn't even aware that we were supposed to do a lot of visitations, home, hospital, funerals and all this and that and the other. And of course, I work full time, so I cannot do all that visitation. Right.
And that's kind of, again, drives back to the point of why we need a committee. So that if,
Right.
for example, you can't do that, Mary, maybe Gail can do one part. And if we have a third or a fourth person, then they maybe can do something else. So that maybe you can do what you can do as a person who's working, and Gail can do what she can do, and somebody else can do what they can do. So again, that's why we need a committee, because everybody has other things they have going on. So we all need to kind of pitch in here and there.
Right. And I'm very anxious for the board to decide on those guidelines so that, the project can continue.
That is next on our list.
Question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the ways we make ourselves known to the larger community is by a website called Candid, used to be known as GuideStar. And on that website, which I took on the job of updating it, and we're at Silver Star or whatever that means. But as far as the programs go, the only program I put in there was the PHP committee. But I'd also like to suggest maybe for the board to consider we should put our Sunshine Committee in as a program that we do.
I agree, honestly. We will be having a board meeting soon, but I agree. I think it's good for us as a chapter, connected with the state affiliate, that we try to do things to increase our reach so that we can continue to exist.
My mouth. Picking up. I think that it should be on there too, that we make donations aside from, what other things that we do. That's part of it.
On the Candid? Yeah, I mean on the GuideStar that I just mentioned.
What he just explained is a system that that's
The ones that we make $1,000 to Voice Corps, Newsreel, other blind organizations.
Yeah, I've thought about that and I haven't figured out how to say it, that's all. But yeah, I agree that should
Yeah.
be posted
Well-
on that website as well.
we'll look into updating that and seeing if we can add those. And then again, I like the idea of, again, we are a not-for-profit organization, but or a consumer advocacy organization, based on how we are situated nationally. So it's important for people to know that we exist and that we're somewhat in need, but also we are here to fill a need as well. Are there any questions or comments in Zoom, Katie?
I don't see any hands.
Okay. Is that all your update, Mary, for the Sunshine Committee?
Yes. And again, I think we really need to applaud Nikki and Larry for all the work they did in this program. And
They
all the
have. They did
visitations
a
that
wonderful
did.
job.
That was really great.
A wonderful, wonderful job. So the next committee report is PHP, People Helping People.
As the only human here, I think, who's on that committee, I'm not aware of anything.
So no new applications or anything?
I do not know, and Denise would know. And
Oh.
It's not here today. Sean's not here today, and Gail Horton is not here today.
Okay. I would make a suggestion that, when you have a committee of how you all have 4 people, that it shouldn't be just on one person to know. You all should know what's going on. So that if nobody's here but you can make the report. So that would be something I would take back to them and you all to figure that out. But that would be my strong suggestion, that Denise needs to share whatever she knows or doesn't know, so that whoever's here can make a report. Next thing is a update from ACB Ohio. Katie, do you want me to talk about, um, did I talk about that at the last meeting, the legislative seminar?
You
did.
probably, you probably did, I would think, since I think you would have been back by then.
Yeah,
But-
it's all running together in my head.
I
So,
know. Yeah. Do you want me to share any other updates? I have a few I can share.
please do.
All right, so next Saturday at 2 o'clock, there is an ACB Ohio board meeting, a quarterly board meeting. And those are open to the public. So if you wish to attend that, a meeting announcement will be sent out to the list. But we're using the ACB Ohio Zoom, and that meeting ID is 614-261-3561. So that's next Saturday at 2. We also have our next newsletter deadline for the Ohio Connection, which is our quarterly newsletter, is May 15th. And the last issue featured an article from Troy Sullivan from the Columbus chapter. So, and many other voices, which is always great. We love having new contributors to our newsletter, and that adds more variety and more different points of view. So if you want to submit something for the newsletter or have questions, you can reach out to me or call the ACB Ohio office. We also have our next membership, at-large membership call will be on May 9th at 7 p.m. And the next Voice Corps show will be on May 1st. And we are also starting to plan the working with the Indiana affiliate on the 2024 conference and convention. So those dates are October 25th through the 27th. And we'll have more details to share as that progresses. And our Sports and Recreation Committee is working on Fall Fest preparations again this year, and that's going to be in Worcester, as it was last year, the last weekend in September. So more details to come on that as we move forward throughout the year. Then, of course, we have the ACB National Convention coming up in Jacksonville, July 5th through the 12th are the dates on that. And there is some virtual programming that starts in June. I don't have those exact dates in front of me, so I don't want to give them here, but do stay tuned to, ACB publications and your email for more information about the National Convention coming up.
I believe the virtual things start on the 24th of June.
Sounds right. I know there's the auction is a little like the day or so before, and then there's a candidates forum a little bit before that. So it's kind of, but yes, I think the main programming might start around that time. That sounds right.
I believe seeing that in the leadership.
Sure. And I think that's all I have.
Katie, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Yeah, one is have the Indiana people actually figured out where to hold the convention? Because what I saw at their last convention made me lose hope about that idea.
It is, I don't have the hotel information in front of me, but it is in Indianapolis this time. It's not in Bloomington, so it is in Indianapolis. I just don't have the hotel information in front of me. I apologize for that, but I will, we're going to put something in the next newsletter about it, and then I will get information out to the chapter about that hotel.
Thank you. The other question is, do you know if that magnifier is still in the ACB Ohio office down on High Street? Because there was one sitting there for a while.
I do not know. I would suggest calling Michelle and asking her.
Thank you.
Sure.
What was the deadline for the newsletter?
May 15th.
Yep, May 15th. Thank you, Katie, for the ACB Ohio report. Now moving on to any old business. Is there anything we've talked about in the last few months that someone would like, anybody wanted to have a further discussion on?
Yes, this is Mary Highland.
Okay,
I'd like to talk about the audio description
yes,
that I've been working on.
yes, please share.
Okay, so I have spoken with Nate Riley at Kappa, which is now known as CBUS Arts, and also the director of the Short North Stage Theater, Dionysia. It's a very odd name. And I've forgotten her last name. It starts with a V. It's also really hard to pronounce. But in conversations with those folks, we've come to the conclusion that $1,000 from us would fund 6 or 7 plays at the Short North Stage Theater. And as I mentioned in my email that I sent out, the Kappa or CBUS Arts already has audio description built into their budget, so it really wouldn't make sense for us to donate to them. But it would make sense for us to donate to the Short North Stage Theater. And my suggestion is to donate, and I could put this in the form of a motion and then we can have discussion if it's seconded. But my suggestion would be to donate that $1,000 to the Short North Stage this year, and then we can revisit that and possibly donate to another small theater in years to come. It wouldn't necessarily have to be the Short North every year.
Second that motion.
All in favor, say, oh, discussion.
Yeah, it's discussion.
I think first of all, I like the idea of that because again, you know, people tend to, as we all know, people tend to think sometimes that people with disabilities, especially those who are blind, that we don't enjoy live theater, and we do. And so I think for you to have that discussion with them and for them to be open to it is a really good thing for our community and in general. So I love, and I thank you for the research that you have taken on to do, Mary.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I will say that the prices at the Short North Theater are much more reasonable than, like, you know, Broadway. You know, those prices are really out of reach for a lot of people. So yeah, that's another good reason to go with the Short North.
I have a question. This is Mary Carabinas. Explain what happens at the Short North. I've never been there, and I don't know what kind of theater they have. And
Okay, I'll be glad to do that, and Katie can chime in. Katie and I, and also Denise Bauman, went to see The Color Purple not too long ago. And I also have to say that I went by myself, and I don't like to do that, but you know, that's kind of the way life is. But they were so helpful to me. I got there early, so I just got a lot of attention, and they were just super nice to me. And that's not going to happen in you know, like a Catco or someplace like that. So here's a lineup of the shows for next season at Short North. The first one's called Legally Blonde. Then there's a show called Ain't Misbehavin'.
I love that play.
I haven't seen that, so it's probably mostly musical, right?
Yes, but it's an old play. It's been around.
Yeah,
Wow, so you'll enjoy.
yeah. Then get this, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes, yes.
Really?
Yes.
and then there's the Jersey Boys. That's a musical. And there's a show called Nine. I've never heard of it. I don't know anything about it. And And then one of my favorites, A Chorus Line.
Yay.
Yes, so there's just lots.
Fine.
And then there's a play called The Drowsy Chaperone. So that should be fun.
One,
So that's just a sample of what, those are the shows that they are going to offer, or they can offer audio description for. And the best way to vote for something to be audio described is to buy a ticket. Because if you ask for audio description, they will provide it. When audio description was first started in Columbus, actually when it was started nationally, they said it will not be provided for any fewer than one person. So even if you're the only person asking for it, they will provide it.
They will or won't?
They will.
Will, good. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So Mary, it just to kind of go back to your question, the Short North Soundstage, they are a live theater venue. And they
Yes,
plays, musicals, all kinds of things.
yes, and it's on High Street in the Short North.
questions that came from somebody. This is to support the audio description, correct?
Yes. Oh, yes, this would be earmarked for audio description. And I would ask them to mention it in their program, that this production is being audio described thanks to the Columbus chapter of the American Council of the Blind of Ohio.
That would be great. And that would be good publicity for us and who we are.
Mhm. Yes. So, is there any other discussion?
Did someone already second it?
Yes,
Yes.
and I think one of it was answered. Our donation to the theater would only be used for audio description, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And my next question is, have we donated to other theaters or is this something new we're considering?
Something new as far as I know.
I don't know if we have done anything like that in the past. I
No.
don't, not. Katie,
Yeah.
do you know?
Yeah, I don't think we have. I think the only thing we've done is help. We have been asked to, whoops. Am I unmuted?
Yeah.
Sorry, my computer said I wasn't, so I just want to make sure I wasn't talking to myself, as I sometimes do. We have helped choose the, summer movie series for Kappa. They usually describe 3 movies of that a year, and we've helped choose that, but I don't know that we've actually donated to audio description at the theaters before. And I'm personally excited about this, so I hope we decide to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a real good idea, starting with this theater. I think it might be good to say that our donation covers half the cost, so it lasts longer, and that would relieve them and still give the opportunity for more audio description if it was a 50-50. Just a thought.
Oh, can I respond to that?
Sure.
I believe that just since Short North Stage Theater said that would cover the cost for 6 or 7 productions, I think that would be I would prefer that we just put it out there as is and not say it would just cover half, since we have the money.
Well, but again, do we want to set the precedent of paying 100%? Just a thought.
This is Katie. I think they'll provide description if it's requested, if they can. I think, our donation certainly helps the theater, but they are willing to accommodate and, work with people with disabilities who make those requests for services.
I agree. you know, audio description is still, even though it's been around, it's still fairly new for a lot of folks. So this is a good way to help generate more buzz about audio description and its importance in the world of entertainment and media.
Question from Gail is, do we still only have one audio describer?
Nate Riley at CBUS Arts told me that the describer will be Harold Yarborough. And for those of you who listen to the sports show on VoiceScore, you have heard his voice many times.
Yeah, Harold was a regular describer when we used to do movies before they became accessible.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yes, he's good.
Any more discussion? Okay, not hearing any response. We have a motion on the floor to earmark this $1,000 to the Short North Soundstage for audio description. And I believe Lee seconded the motion, if I'm correct. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? This motion has passed. Thank you, Mary.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very
I
much.
will be glad to deliver the message.
Thank you, thank you.
And Mary, could you forward me the address to send a check to?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay. Any other old business? Based on anything we've discussed in the last couple of months?
Yeah, we keep talking about creating committees for raising funds and those kind of things. Are we still, is that still on the table?
Yes, it's still on the table. That doesn't mean we have to discuss it, but it's still something that needs to be addressed. And I've narrowed it down to if we can just get some people to be a part of the Sunshine Committee and people to be a part of events, programming, things like that. Like that, cause that I'm getting ready to talk about that next, because the next thing we need to talk about is the summer gathering and narrowing, you know, figuring out where we're gonna go for that, because that needs to be sort of addressed. And I'm always going to suggest that we do something a little different. Because again, as an organization, we can't say that people aren't doing these things or recognizing us. But it's nice that we have our favorites, but sometimes we need to venture out so that people know that we are here. Just kind of like they go to different places for the Vision Loss Support Dinner. We need to do the same as a chapter. So yes, the committees are still an issue. So any suggestions as to where we should have the summer gathering, which is at the end of July after the convention?
No? Sorry. As you can tell, we've got a lot of audio problems today, like wherever the levels I set the last time, it was like zoo. So anyhow, like we were getting blasted by the people on Zoom and we couldn't hear it. It was like we were all we all couldn't talk. Anyway, so yeah, this is where we think we need to get people to volunteer to go out looking for places rather than right now decide where to go. Because I mean, in the past we've had Gail Baldwin and myself and Dustin did it last year. So this is where people need to throw their hat into the ring, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm even the adage that maybe we should kind of copy some of the places that Division Loss Support Group goes. Because those are places they've been, and apparently they must have had some decent success with going to those restaurants.
El Vaquero
Doesn't have to be Polaris,
Mhm,
but they've been to more than just places in Polaris.
mhm. Bob Evan, uh, let's see what there was. Don't go to a place called Chili because they have no idea how to serve people. That's- Like,
So Angela has something.
The summer, can you talk a little bit about
So the
what you're
summer,
talking about?
the
Yeah.
summer gathering is one of our big social events we do. We do two big social events a year at this point, which is a summer gathering and the Christmas gathering, which is in December.
mhm.
And the summer gathering is always held the last Saturday in July because July is National Convention for the American Council of Blind, since we're a national organization and you're a part of the local chapter. And ACB Ohio is our state affiliate.
Mhm.
And so our convention is always around 4th of July for a week in a different city and state. It's been here in Columbus in the past as well. So we gather at the end of July to, gather, meet, socialize, eat.
And that- Janae, that takes the place of the July chapter meeting, so there is. no chapter
Gary
meeting.
say that. I was Gary say that too. Sorry, I was giving the background. I was going to add that too.
Okay,
If I could add on, is history goes back as we used to for several years met at somebody's house and had a big picnic until they just couldn't do that anymore. And I don't know the details because I wasn't treasurer then, but I think there was some support being given to that too, because some chicken sort of showed up magically from, I think, Kentucky Fried. And I don't know how that happened, but somebody was paying for that. Then they weren't able to do it anymore and COVID hit. And that's when we started going to a venue like the Rusty Bucket was the first one we kind of stuck our nose out into the atmosphere, the Rusty Bucket on High Street. And I think we might have done that 2 years running. And then last year, of course, is Massey's Pizza on High Street. So that's sort of the history. I just wanted to put that in there. So
Thank you,
just to
Lee. I
give a
didn't know the history. I was at least given some background that I knew, but thank you.
question, Barry.
How about like hitting a state park or a park and with and then we'd have all the outdoor stuff going on at the park
And all of the shelters are all rented by now, so we had to start in January. Yes, they actually have to start that early. Juanita puts in that the prices are high for their shelters.
Yeah, they can be. They can be. The only other alternative is some people, if you got up early that morning and somebody was able to go out there and grab a shelter, that's the other option that some people do too. If they don't want to pay and have a reserved spot, they go out early and. But they're not all of them are, sometimes they have ones that aren't at every park that aren't reserved. They leave some open for people who want to come.
And the other part to put in is for the last 2 years, I think, we've had volunteers who paid the meals at the summer outing. But that can.
The participants who come have paid, right? Or what? Reservists paid or we have paid?
I can't hear what being discussed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Are you saying that the individual paid or our group paid?
Let's see, the volunteers paid for the summer outing the last 3 years. The chapter paid for the Christmas outing, that's relatively new too. I don't recall how many years that's been true. Maybe it's 2 years, maybe it's 3 for the Christmas outing. But it used to be you paid $20 a head or something for the Christmas outing.
That part's right, yes.
Yeah.
So, so as Lee said, we've we would like people to start looking around to see where we could go for a summer gathering. We kind of would like people to do that sooner than later, because next month is May, then June, then July, and we want to, if we're going to go to a restaurant, we need to kind of have that figured out and call and have a, spot reserved for us, since we are can be a fairly large party.
To give an idea of size, 36, I think, attended the Massey's Pizza.
36, okay,
Either 36 or 29.
okay. How many attended the Christmas dinner?
That may be where I got the 36 number. It's 36 to 38, something like that.
So that would be my request, that we have, if we get at least a couple people to call around and ask, number one, do you have space for a large party at a restaurant? Because that's one thing we need to find out, because some restaurants do, some restaurants don't. And also find out, just for our knowledge, if those restaurants have any special pricing or menus for large groups too, just so we can kind of look at that from a budget standpoint. We probably don't want to do that. We're probably hoping maybe, we can find somewhere that maybe has some outdoor space, because it is July and it's summer and it's,
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Christmas.
no, I'm just saying in general. Christmas, we'll get to that. We'll start talking about
Now-
that in June.
When I was calling around, I know Schmidt's Sausage House has an upstairs banquet room, but they don't have an elevator. So, and I know everybody's gonna groan at this, but the Texas Roadhouse in Grove City was going to add a separate room. Now, I don't know if they've done that, but I could call and find out.
And I can check the Texas Roadhouse on my end of town too, because I think they have a room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Longhorn does or not. But would that be something that people might want to? It's a little different. But the hotel banquet rooms, I mean, their dinner prices are probably by now 60 or 70 or higher per dinner. So,
Yeah, that might be one reason we ended up at the Hofbrauhaus at Christmas, because they did have an elevator. And the range of menus there went from, like what Gail says, it was menu prices. I don't remember what the top number was. It might have been as high as 65. The lower number that we were in the area in the $30 range. Remember, again, this decision we would have to make this year again as to whether we're chapter is paying for all that, which is something we would do one more time, depending on price.
Right. And then also, I was going to also suggest Old Bag and Nails. There's I know there's not a location on this end, but there's one in kind of the Kahana area, and there's one a little coming back towards Bexley. That's another restaurant. I believe they have some decent space for a decent sized party.
That would be cool, because the one on High Street that has died had a room that could handle maybe 20, 24 people.
So I can check those, the Old Bag and Nails. They have a variety of food and their prices are reasonable as well. No, that's a banquet hall, so that's,
Never going there again.
no,
Sorry.
no. And it would probably be out of our price range anyway.
I want to apologize for what I said. It's just that we did Christmas dinner at the Berwick for many years, and it it deteriorated, like it was heading. for
Quality
the
is not
center
as
of
good
the
as
earth.
it used to be.
A few years in a row, my family had a Christmas gathering at I think it's the Big Walnut Party. Like they have a room with the kitchen and everything. Now, somewhere like that, you would have to definitely get the meal catered in, but the cost of the room wasn't out of bounds. I don't know, like what your budget is, or what you like to um pay for just the venue, but that could be a suggestion too, and it is at a park, so.
If you're thinking about that, start at a ballpark of about $35 to $40 per meal. That's when you're thinking about it. It's something like that. Yeah, it's something like
Yeah.
that. Well, or a meal at a place. It's in that area.
And I'm gonna ask around about some, cause I know some people that do catering, and see if we did at a park, what would they cut us a deal for the food? So any questions regarding any of this on Zoom, Katie?
I don't see any hands.
Okay, go ahead, Marilyn.
One thought is, in the past, I had meals catered at my house when I held a gathering for Thanksgiving and this, and the Westerville Grill had excellent, excellent food they brought the day before, steam table and everything. But the problem is, I have a backyard with plenty of room, but I only have a couple tables. So, I've got the yard space, but I don't have the tables enough for that many people. And the other fact is, it's 8 or 9 steps up to get to the deck to get into the house to use the bathroom. That's another drawback. Otherwise, I'd offer.
Will work for the dogs.
I'm gonna say I have extra tables and storage that I can bring. I have tables. So I will say that I have card tables that I can bring that I have in storage that I inherited from my grandparents. So that are still in good condition. The end of July, which would serve as our July meeting,
Yeah, last Saturday in July.
last Saturday in
usually.
July. Yeah. That's why we need to be
Yep.
somewhere under a canopy.
Well, tornadoes don't care, but okay.
I know tornadoes don't care about canopies. So, but that's, let's at least work on it and, email the list of things you find out so we can kind of at least get the discussion going as to where we would like to have our summer gathering. And we can also talk about it at the May meeting.
I don't know.
This is Shirley. Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I had my hand up, but I wasn't sure when you were going to recognize Zoom
I'm
people
sorry,
again.
Shirley, I
so-
didn't see your hand go up. I apologize.
That's okay. No big deal. I know what went up after she asked about Zoom.
Okay, sorry
So,
about
anyway, I guess the only suggestion I would make, and it doesn't really solve anything or give you a possibility, but I'm a little hesitant to plan something outdoors because you just never know what the weather's going to be, and that would be my main reason probably for going more for a restaurant, unless you had somebody that could do it outside, at their place or something, with the proviso of going in if the weather was bad. So, I would hate to pay, especially if you're going to pay a caterer or something like that to do something for an outside event, and then at the last minute we get horrible weather and can't do it. then we could be out a bit of money.
Yes, in the past, when it was at Kate Snyderman's house, she had a house, rather large house. And Jackie,
Right, so at least you had a backup plan,
yeah, and Jackie Giles, that used to be there too, but that's almost before my time.
right? So that would be the bad part that I would see about a park or somebody who was willing to do it at their house, but really didn't have a good way to
And
get
if,
inside or want people inside.
again, if we can find, I want to double check and make sure that all the parks are for sure filled up just just to see. Because again, and even find out the parameters around, like I said, I know that some parks leave open stuff available for people to come and grab a shelter. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
leave,
but that's still kind of iffy. You still aren't guaranteed that you're going to get it. I
just
hate to see us do
fire.
that.
everything is filled up before I say that. So we might be lucky and there's something still available somewhere. I know typically, maybe not by this part of the year, but it doesn't hurt to call and just ask. You never know unless you ask, instead of making an assumption.
If we think we're interested, I could see about a party house at one of the condos where I do business and see if they have availability, and it would have to be catered. The one I'm thinking of, they have a small kitchen and a dining area and a seating area. And we could move the furniture to the perimeter and put up tables there. So that is a party house, and it does have like a veranda patio you can open the doors to go out to. If the weather's nice, some could eat outdoors, but I could check on that if we're interested. We would pay the rent for the party house, and that's all we'd pay. And of course, we'd have to clean up.
And where is that located?
The one I'm thinking of is on Cleveland Avenue in Westerville.
Okay.
Would Coda go there? Do you know, Mary Lynn?
Yes, says Mary Lynn.
I'm volunteer parks if anybody wants me to. I've booked a couple of things in the parks before.
If you can check and just confirm that they're all booked up.
I found one last year. We're right up against it, but all I got to do is make a phone call. They have a central office and you can find out what's available.
Well, call and see. Like I said, let's just inquire. Let's not assume, even though we know historically, but just call and see. Any other issues we need to address today?
Mary Lynn.
I have no idea if they would accept it, but Camp Mary Orton on High Street, kind of in the Worthington area, but south, I believe. It is a camp mainly for kids, but they have a dining hall, they have grounds, they have swimming pool, they have all kind of stuff. It was donated to the Orton family for use in education for children, but it doesn't hurt. I'd be willing to call and just see.
Yeah, call and ask.
Okay.
Call them at, a lot of times those kind of places are willing to give and help for an organization like ours. So call and ask.
I mean, pretty far north,
What is the name of it?
not as far as Polaris Parkway.
It's Camp Mary Hortons. Orton's, sorry.
Orton, yeah. I thought
It's been
it was
around for
mostly-
years.
I thought it was mostly a ropes course or something.
So we got something we're working on. That's good. If there's no other things we need to discuss, I would like someone to make a motion to adjourn. Uh-oh. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. This will be real short. The guy who runs our building at Newsreel does give out Clippers baseball tickets each year, and we were lucky to get some this year. So it's possible that there's 3 of us and sometimes 4 of us who go. So we might sometimes have a 4th ticket available. And if so, it's basically free. It's on Diamond Dog Night, which is on Tuesdays, so you can get free hot dogs. Your transportation would be up to you, but I will send out an email when we're coming close to a date if I have a free ticket. So that way, if you want to come to a Clippers game, if I send out an email that saying there's a free ticket, you need to call me right away to reserve one.
Thank you, Erwin, for sharing. Yeah.
And if they're the same place where it has been in previous years, they're right behind the plate. I don't know if they are, but
Right behind home plate? All right. If there's no other concerns or issues, who would like to wonderfully adjourn the wonderful meeting?
Mary Lynn,
Mary Lynn, who would like to second adjourning the meeting?
Gail,
So Mary Lynn has moved to adjourn. Gail Baldwin has seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay? Let's go get some food, folks. No speaker. No speaker.